Hello again, my friends. So, I also realized that in the last video, I didn't say where Nora and Kettle ranks in terms of the other books that I've read. And honestly, it's above A Light on the Hill, and Dragon's Champion, which is pretty great. Some might feel that it's kind of unfair to judge all these books on the same list, given that they're not all the same genre, but I don't really care. You can have more than one favorite book, and that's what I have. What the hell is the light doing? Do y'all see that? Cause that's maybe it's just me, but that was weird. Okay. Um so the book that I'm going to be reviewing now is called Death Cursed, and it's another magic book, so that's fun. Uh, Madeline, main character, she already knew that she wasn't weird. She accidentally killed someone that she was dating, so that's cool. She like touched them and like kissed them, and they died. I like her. She's not very whiny, and she has a very good reason to be emotional given that she killed somebody just by touching them. I seriously don't know what's going on with that light. Anyway, I'm gonna stop commenting on it. She's kidnapped. She's kidnapped by these creatures. I think it's pronounced Vaetir, Vaettir. I have no idea. I'm gonna pronounce it Vaetir. They're basically nature elves, so I might just refer to them as the nature elves. Madeline learns that she's not exactly human. She's kind of one of them, or I think she's half human. I have no idea. The Vaetir, the nature elves, were at war with the humans, so, and the humans won, because that's always how these things turn out. Anyway, she can release trapped souls. I don't know what that has to do with her being able to kill people and why she accidentally killed that one boy that she was dating, but she can do that. And there are three main people. There's Sophie, who is a clan member. James is the torturer, and Alric is a person. He's a part of this clan. I'm not entirely sure why Sophie and James have normal names, but then the other one, his name is Alric. Alric and Sophie are brother and sister. I think Sophie might be older. I don't remember if it says or not. There are two main clans, Aslan's clan and Estes' clan, and right now Madeline's with Estes' clan, and Estes is trying to find some sort of artifact that will allow him to subdue humans and like control everything. And lots of people think that Estes should be allowed to rule. Other people, the people who are with Aslan, think that he shouldn't be allowed to rule. And Madeline isn't on board for any of this. Very similarly to Eric, she also has a rejection of the call, but eventually she decides to figure it out. Madeline isn't on board for this for about 7 chapters. Maya, she's in a prison. She's one of Aslan's spies and also Sophie's girlfriend. Madeline helps her escape, and Sophie also helps, but Sophie abandons Madeline, and Madeline is captured. And at this point, Alric is like pretending to be on their side because he was trying to help them, but then they got caught, so he pretended to catch Madeline. And Madeline is also kind of in love with Alric, even though Sophie warns her not to be. My descriptions of these books seem very boring and flat, but like if they're on the good book list, then I think they're a good book. Yeah, I just don't have a very like upbeat voice. I apologize. So James tortures Madeline for information, but he's also an Aslan spy. Everyone seems to be an Aslan spy. So Madeline doesn't know why she should trust him. She doesn't know why she should trust any of these people. Sophie abandoned her. Alaric betrayed her as far as she's concerned. And James is a torturer for Estes. She has no idea why she should trust any of these people. But she does because plot. And this book isn't super memorable, but it's also not bad. So it goes on the good book list. It goes between... Hang on. It goes between The Giver and A Light on the Hill and Dragon's Champion. I mean, the book ends with them like all leaving and like going off to do stuff. I think James likes Madeline. He dislikes Alaric. It's not really explained why. I don't think. I don't actually remember. I don't know who Aslan is. We have not met her yet. There are other books in this series. It's Death Cursed is good enough for me to want to read the rest of them. At least the second one, because I'm taking this one book at a time. And yeah, that's kind of it for that one. So it's not a shout out, like that was the whole book review. As I said, it's just not very memorable. So I'm going to do another book called Enchantress by Numbers. Now, this book, I think it's actually Enchantress of Numbers, but I don't remember. This book is about a lady named Ada Lovelace. Ada Lovelace was a real person, and the book kind of just traces her life. So, like normally, like with Death Cursed, I would try to go through the plot and like talk about the things that are happening. But I don't know enough about Ada Lovelace to know how much of this is fiction and how much of it is real. The book came out in 2017. Yeah, it's cool that Ada was a mathematician. There aren't very many female mathematicians, so that was cool. I mean, I like the book, but there's a lot of mathy stuff in it, so I kind of got a little bit lost. But I don't like math, so Ada Lovelace is Lord Byron's only legitimate child, but her mother took her away when she realized that Lord Byron was kind of flighty in the head, and also possibly may have been sleeping with his sister, but that's just a rumor. And her mother does not like the fact that that Lord Byron is a poet, kind of, even though she also writes poetry. That's how she like ended up in his circle. And she doesn't like the fact that he worships imagination. So for Ada, she decided that Ada was only going to have a life of logic and reason. Anytime someone tried to share a fairy tale with her, they were fired. Anytime she loved anybody more than her mother, they were also fired. But at the same time, her mother was never around, and her friends basically tortured Ada. She didn't have the female talk with her about periods and boys, so she ended up having a crush on one of her tutors, but the tutor is lowborn, I guess, so she wasn't allowed to be with him, and also illegal because she was a minor. But her mother was not a good mother. Children need imagination, in my opinion. If they don't have imagination, then whatever. So with the dialogue, this book doesn't. Ada was alone a lot of the time, or she had teachers that she didn't really care for. Her mother liked them, which means that Ada usually didn't like them, and her mom would hire these people, and they would rotate occasionally, so she couldn't actually get attached to any of them, and there's not a lot of dialogue. The dialogue only really happens when Ada's around other people, but she doesn't really have that many friends. She mostly writes letters to them, and she doesn't get to go out and meet other people. Her mom travels a lot, but she's never with her until towards her adult life. Number two is it's all about Ada's mother. Her name is Anne Isabella Annabella Milbank Byron, and she was also kind of a logic person, but she wrote poetry. I don't really understand her motives because she not kept in touch. She would rotate around Lord Byron's circle and watch what he was doing, but she would never interact with him, and she wouldn't even let him have contact with his daughter. She sent him a lock of her hair, but that was it. She didn't let Ada meet the man. She never even let Ada know what he looked like for most of her life. And she just never talked about him, but that just lets the curiosity stew. So I don't understand why she did that, because it only made Ada more curious, and it kind of made Ada more like her father, because she was trying to rebel and she had imagination, and who knows the type of literature we could have gotten had Ada Lovelace been allowed to embrace her imaginative side. But whatever. Um, Ada's husband is fine in the book. Ada's kind of inept socially because of her mother. So, I mean, he was okay. And then, like, uh, I just. I don't understand her mother's motivations. So, like, the fact that there's not a lot of dialogue means that we're with Ada a lot and we're inside her head a lot. It's third person limited to Ada. So, like, you're able to feel her annoyance at the things that her mother is doing to her and, like, not realizing. Her mother doesn't understand why Ada loves these other people more than her, but then she goes away and doesn't take Ada with her. Shocked Pikachu face. Like, what? And then, like, she lets these rumors about when she left Lord Byron stew, and she doesn't try to dispute them or try to, like, come up with the truth. I feel like because she knew that she was wrong, like, that's assumption land, but I feel like she knew that she was wrong because you married this person and, like, whatever. I think Anne was naive because she married Lord Byron and thought that everything was going to be cool and she would be with this famous poet, but it didn't turn out that way. That's what happens when you marry somebody after you only know them for, like, less than 6 months. Not to say that you can't know when somebody is the one after 6 months, but in this case, clearly she did not know what she was getting into. And then, like, so the things that aren't in the book that I just thought were pretty interesting. She helped with early computers, which you don't find a lot of with women, which I thought was cool. And she died at age 36, just like her father. And, like, in terms of, I guess this is more about if I like the book or not. And I mean, I do like the book. But at the same time, like, I don't know who I would recommend this book to. Like, if somebody were to ask me, like, what I think of this book, I would tell them that it's good. I just don't know who should read it. If you're interested in mathematicians, I guess you could read it. If you're a feminist, I guess you could read it because she's a woman who was a very prominent, or at least it seems like she was a very prominent mathematician based on what I got from her wiki page. And, yeah. She died at age 36, just like her father. I don't know if I already mentioned that, but she did. She had 3 children. That's in the book. And she got sick after her daughter was born, so she wasn't able to form that mother-daughter bond with her child. Yeah. I mean, it goes underneath The Giver, but above Anthem, because Anthem is so short that I'd honestly be shocked if there was anything underneath Anthem, but I have a whole list of books to read, so who knows. I guess that's it. If you like mathematicians, you're probably gonna like the book.